sad remains of a bicycle. I've no idea where that path leads. Before I get myself lost in the woods, I'd rather stay on the road. The cold pierces through your buttonholes and right down to your bones. Winter's just around the corner. In a few weeks, the last of the trees will be bare. Dead branches on a dead tree. Looking at that makes you feel much more alive. A busted signpost. You can hardly make out what he used to say. That's the road to Warmhill, Willow Creek's neighboring village. Well, village is a little bit of an exaggeration, but at least there's a church there. I don't want to walk there, though. Well, I have no reason to. First it was on the tree, and now it's on the ground. That's what you call the fall. Spectacular backdrop, huh? But as I'm already here, I ought to look in on Lady Victoria and ask how she's doing. The castle looks really threatening from here. The gate is locked shut. A huge lump of stone. I'm no geologist, but it doesn't look like it grew here. It's apparently a survivor of the Bronze Age, like the things at Stonehenge. It's certainly decorative, if you like having boulders in your garden. One of 3 nymphs that guard the castle and are supposed to provide light. Old Bates used to use the nymphs as a mnemonic device. In Greek mythology, nymphs often accompany superior divinities. They were seen as the benevolent spirits of trees, grottos, or important places. Well, that's my knowledge of nymphs pretty much exhausted. Is it just me, or has nature taken its course at an amazing rate here over the last few weeks? An empty letterbox. Looks like a few kids have had a party here. Bates would go bananas if he could see all this. The last time I was here, I was able to bust open the wrought iron gate. The lock looks way sturdier than it used to be. I'm not going to be able to get it open without a lot of hassle, for sure. Oh. We've got a new doorbell with an intercom system.
Who's there?
My name's Adrian Gordon. I'd like to see Lady Victoria, please. Hello?
Come in, Mr. Gordon. Lady Victoria has just woken up.
Yes, of course.
Please excuse the gates. The builders are working on the renovations.
You're looking after Lady Victoria?
Yes. I'm a trained nurse of your...
great-grandmother.
I take care of all of your great-grandmother's needs.
Thank you. Miss...
Angelina. Sister Angelina.
Thank you, Sister Angelina. Can I just ask you something? How is Lady Victoria?
As well as can be expected. She's not speaking to me, unfortunately. Perhaps you'll have better luck.
Do you think that being in the middle of a construction site is the right place for such an old lady?
Lady Victoria was most insistent that she be moved back into the castle. She said that she'd been born here and that she wanted to die here. And the walls here are rather thick. She doesn't hear that much. At least she hasn't complained as of yet.
God, looks like a death chamber in here. I can feel a chill right to my heart. I can only hope Victoria gets better soon. A room screen. It's supposed to be a barrier to prying eyes. A plush stool. Like lots of things in this room, it's red. There are lots of cupboards. This is probably Victoria's dressing room. A bit of a deja vu moment. About 4 weeks ago, I was standing at my foster mom's sickbed. These machines were there, too. There's even a button to call the nurse here as well. Victoria, my great-grandmother, and the only member of my family I've got left. A picture of a woman in white. Looks like a kind of wedding dress. That's William's name at the bottom in the corner. My great-grandfather must have painted it. Is that supposed to be Victoria in her younger years? Weird. She looks like Angelina. Or is that the other way around? Same genes after all. A huge oak bed. Presumably it used to be William's and Victoria's bed. William died more than 12 years ago. If you look out there, you might think it's deepest winter. Or has that more to do with the chill here in the room? A shelf with books, souvenirs, and caskets on it. Probably full of memories. Reminds me of Lady Eleanor's castle in Wales, but during better days. When Tom was holding me prisoner there 3 weeks ago, it was already half sunk in the marsh. Hairbrushes, makeup utensils, creams, Victoria's cosmetic stuff. A small casket. Victoria probably keeps her jewelry in it. There's some pretty big fish being gutted in this picture. It's signed W. Gordon, 1921. I wonder if William painted it. Hello, Victoria? It's me, Adrian. Did you put up the bail for me? Are you being well looked after? Victoria, are you okay? Victoria, I need your help. Really. The police don't believe me. How can I make them understand that I'm Adrian Gordon when the name Darren Michaels is printed in my passport? Victoria, you're the only one who can help me. Please.
What's happened?
Nothing. I hit the button by mistake. But now that you're here... Miss Antolini, Lady Victoria isn't speaking at all. Can't she talk anymore?
Well, she does. I hear her sometimes through the closed door, cursing and praying. Praying, mostly. I rather believe that she doesn't want to talk anymore. After everything that's happened. Too sad. I'd hoped you could break through the misery. You're her great-grandson, Adrian, Samuel's son, aren't you?
Yes, I am. The only one. And the last one, too. How do you know that? Has Lady Victoria told you about me?
Well, not directly. You know, she's not been speaking to anyone. But, as I said, I hear her cursing sometimes. And then you get mentioned rather often. I'm sorry, Mr. Gordon. I'll leave you both together now.
Hello, Victoria? It's me, Adrian. I'm sorry about what happened to Bates, Eleanor, and Sally. It must be awful for you.
Adrian, tell me the truth. Was it you? Did you start the fire?
No, Victoria, it wasn't me. It was Lewis. He did what Angelina told him to do. She was behind all the murders. It was her who also lured me here because she needed me for, you know, the curse which only affects the male Gordons. She wanted to achieve what Samuel was trying to prevent. She was possessed by it. She lied to me, to all of us.
What's all that, Adrian? You sound like a coward. It wasn't me. It was Angelina. Why should I believe you? Why have you come here at all? Things were going well for you in America. If you'd only just stayed there, Bates would still be alive. Eleanor, Catherine, Miss Valley. You're too weak. You can't stand up to Mordred. His ghost rides you like a child rides a rocking horse. Since you've turned up, there's been nothing but calamity. Just disappear again, Adrian. Do me a favor and go back to where you came from before the other half of the castle goes up in flames.
What have you done to her?
Nothing at all. I've been talking with her, that's all.
You'd better go now. Your great-grandmother needs peace and quiet.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't want that. I'm sorry.
Just go, please.
Now, it's not just everyone in the village that hates me. The only remaining member of my family, too. Real good job, Darren. If I wasn't already doing it, I'd be signing up for therapy right away. Oh well, here goes nothing. A photo of me in front of the castle. That'll have to do for Murray. Hi, Murray.
Oh, the esteemed Mr. Michaels. What's on your mind?
The woods around Willow Creek are pretty gloomy.
The woods are quite exceptional, I'll have you know. Full of ghosts and demons, if you like to believe the local folklore. The perfect backdrop for all of the grisly murders that have happened here and are, regrettably, yet to come.
You can hardly wait, right?
I've lived here long enough to know that patience is a virtue.
Why don't you go out and kill a few people yourself if you're so hot on it all?
I'm a businessman, not a murderer. A small but absolutely fine distinction, Mr. Michaels.
So there, you've got your stupid photo. Happy?
Oh, I can hardly recognize a thing.
Me in front of the castle as agreed? Okay, off to the cops, Murray.
I'm sure you know how important my exonerating statement in the Valley murder case is.
Murray...
Okay, I'll take it.
First, go to the police station.
All right, then, I'll go today. I'm an honorable businessman.
And I'm a possessed madman.
I suggest taking a rest in your room first, and then when you wake up, everything will have been sorted with the police.
I really could use some sleep. Huh. Someone shoved something under the door. I can help you prove your innocence because I believe in your innocence. But I have to be able to trust you too. We can't meet yet, which is why I'm just gonna send you clues. If you want to take up my offer, then you'll find the first lead at your father's grave. Huh, that's a bit confusing. Who's this message from? Murray? He doesn't have an interest in proving my innocence. And anyway, he would just tell me himself. But who else knows I'm living here in the hotel? I need to follow this up carefully. And I ought to find out where the graveyard is around here. Hi, Murray.
Oh, the esteemed Mr. Michaels. What's on your mind?
Murray, do you know where the local graveyard is?
A graveyard? Didn't you want to take a rest?
I'm not up for resting anymore.
I'm sure you can't mean the graveyard behind the hotel. It's being redone right now.
It's being what?
I've had it removed for the time being, so I can relocate it in a sensational new setting. It means I can charge more for some of the rooms, with views over the Gordon graveyard.
You've had the Gordon family graves leveled?
To be quite honest, there was only Lothar Gordon's grave there, the founder of the original sanatorium. The family crypt is in a churchyard at Wormhill.
Ah, right. In Warm Hill, then. Is this note here from you?
Pardon? No, I speak to my guests personally when I've got something for them.
Was there anyone here asking for me earlier?
No, you're simply not well known enough. That'll soon change, believe me.
See you, Murray.
Back to work.
I've no idea where that path leads. Before I get myself lost in the woods, I'd rather stay on the road. Really overgrown back there, and foggy too. It wouldn't surprise me if some undead ghouls suddenly started staggering about. According to the map, this stream's called Old Wansford. Why should I go into the middle of the woods? Warm Hill Church, 800 years old and no spire. Very unusual. There might be bells behind the slats. In that case, they are small auxiliary bell towers. A fortified tower with battlements. That might have been more essential than a bell tower. that's a lightning rod. The tower looks a bit singed. Maybe it was hit by lightning. This is where Miss Valley is buried, murdered by my cursed sister. Perhaps I should bring a few flowers the next time I visit. This pot looks like it's been pushed in. I wonder if it was a hearse driver with parking problems. Ancient headstones. It looks like the design hasn't changed in hundreds of years. That's quite a recent grave. There are even a few flowers still lying on it. That's quite a recent grave. Locked. That's probably the priest's house back there. A huge stained glass window for optimum illumination. These European churches really are impressive buildings. America was probably still India in the minds of a few sailors when this one was built. Bare wooden pews. Very inviting. They really make you want to kneel down and pray. There are some phrases from the Bible engraved in this. Behold the Lamb of God that taketh away the sin of the world, says John 1 verse 29. For to me to live is Christ and to die is gain, says Philip, also 1 verse 21. For many are called but few are chosen, Matthew blah blah blah. The Lord is with me, I will not be afraid. Psalms 118, verse 6. Who's that? That doesn't look like the priest. Hey, you there. Good morning.
What the? Oh, I'm sorry, lad. I must have nodded off.
In the confession box?
The bench has a cushion on it, at least.
You're not the priest, are you?
God forbid. I'm Mark, the grave digger.
Do you know Wormhill well?
Of course, but it's just a few houses on the back of the woods. There's more life in here, I tell you. Are you looking for something in particular?
No, I'm just trying to get an idea of the place.
Looking around this graveyard would give you a better idea of the place. And should you want to reserve yourself a spot here, then let me know. I recommend the southern slope. That's the best location.
Thanks for the tip, but I'm in no hurry to die just yet.
But maybe death's in a hurry to come and get you.
What is it you actually do all day?
Answer stupid questions.
I mean, digging graves can't be all you do.
Yeah, you're right, lad. I don't just dig. I repair things too, keep the church in order, guard the graves. And if you think that the weeds grow on their own around here, then think again. It ain't weeds and it don't grow on its own. But who's interested anyway?
What did you mean by that? You guard the graves?
Well, because of the clientele. So they don't get dug up. By dogs and the like.
Which dogs?
Well, strays from around here. For them, a graveyard is like
An underground hot dog stand?
Yeah, exactly. With the bloody tough sausages.
You must have a lot to do around here, being the gravedigger.
Oh, that's right. My job here is quite secure.
Can you tell me anything about the church?
What do you mean then, lad? Who built it? It certainly wasn't me, even if I might look that old. Must have been around the time Marcus Gordon was alive. Have you seen the dark part of the tower up there?
Yes.
He ran out of stone, and they say he took stones from his castle walls to finish it off. Demolished his own castle to finish the church.
A model Christian.
Perhaps his time was running out. Got himself buried in there in the end.
A crypt that's 100 feet tall with an altar and a bell tower, all for him alone. What a modest man.
All those toffs are. No, he treated himself to an extra crypt underneath the nave. But it caved in 12 years ago. Nobody can get in there anymore.
It's quite a woody area.
That's also supposed to be the reason it's such a bloody area.
The evil of the woods? People around here read too many horror stories.
Or have experienced it themselves. Have you been in the woods here at night?
No.
They say there's plenty to see. Murderous lords of the castle. The undead. Mordred's voracious hellhounds. There are many stories about it. Probably as many stories as there are people here.
The woods around Willow Creek strike me as being particularly creepy.
Yes, and the number of wild boars in there is uncanny. I've known them to trample down my fences to get at the clientele. But I've got some crafty traps set up. I'm looking forward to having a roast. The priest gave his permission.
There's a fresh grave in front of the church.
That'll be Sally's, the young cook from the castle. The poor thing was burned to death, just like old Bates. The fire didn't really make any difference. But Bates isn't here. Lady Victoria insisted on burying him in the Golden Crypt, like a member of the family.
Just like Lady Eleanor, I assume.
Yes, there's still plenty of space in the crypt. Lots of the Gordons haven't been buried there.
Why not?
Well, there are just too many murderers and suicides. They're frowned upon in Catholic graveyards, particularly the ones who commit suicide.
Why? What happens to them?
Well, they're buried anonymously, without any religious ceremony, without the ringing of the bells, without any prayers, without a priest, nothing. They're all buried before sunrise, over by the north wall.
Isn't that what they used to do hundreds of years ago?
Perhaps where you come from. But we're in Wormhill, the manor of Black Mirror Castle. Things are all a bit different around here, my lad.
You don't happen to know being the gravedigger and all, where Samuel Gordon's grave is? He must have been buried in 1981.
That's a tough one, lad. So many people died here 12 years ago, good and evil alike, in the strangest of circumstances. I really can't remember who ended up where. You'd be better off talking to Father Frederick, the priest. Perhaps he can remember.
Where would I find the priest then?
Today? Well, you won't find him at all. He left around midday. Some conference or other. Supposed to be back by noon tomorrow, though.
I'd better be going.
Keep your eyes peeled, lad.
Oh, is it that late already? This certainly isn't a well-groomed graveyard. Most of the graves are overgrown with twining weeds and roots. Gravestones without names. Gravestones. The gravedigger mentioned something about wild boars rampaging around here, but they must have been really big specimens and damn wild too. And of all places, they chose to run wild here. Strange. That's the Gordon family crypt. The musty skeletons of my ancestors are just behind this door. I'm not interested in paying them a family visit. That's William Gordon's grave, my great-grandfather. He died in August 1981. No idea why he wasn't buried in the family crypt. That's William Gordon's grave. The wall has collapsed right in the middle without having a demolition ball taken to it. It takes a few hundred years for that kind of thing to happen. Locked. That's probably the priest's house back there. This is Sally's grave. She was murdered. I can have a look at the map later. I better be careful just now. Those must be wild boars. There's supposed to be plenty of them around here. Oh demonic hellhounds, as they say in the local fables. I better get out of here fast if I don't want to get mauled. A box that's just rotting away. Don't want to know what's in that. Oh well, let's take a look then. Damn it, locked. A padlock of the really sturdy variety. An old bucket. Oh, I hope that isn't the toilet. That almost looks the same as the shredder in the museum. There's something lying in it. It's soft, damp, and cold. Yuck. No thanks. I don't really want to know what's died in there. A rusty old garden implement. The floorboards here sure creak loudly. The floorboards. Another door. Let's see now. Was kinda obvious. There's storage behind it for logs. It stretches right to the door. There's no getting through here. I'm guessing that's paint thinners or gasoline for cleaning stuff. Ugh, smells something like that at least. A file. The escape tool of choice, in the comics at least. An oil lamp. Doesn't seem all that old. Maybe it still works. Ah, that's better. I can see now. What the hell? Damn, don't say somebody lives here. something lying under the bed, but I can't get at it. Half the bed is already collapsed into the floor. I can't drag it through the hut. A couple of luminous smiley stickers. Whoever lives here must be scared of the dark. A peculiar shadow. Gotcha. A cardboard box. Somebody scribbled something on the lid. I can't decipher it. The word definitely begins with an R, though. Let's take a look inside. A rag doll. Pretty ugly and worn out. I recognize it. I've seen it before. It was Ralph's. Yep, that's his doll. Mr. Bubby, or whatever he called it. Strange. How'd it get here? And why has Ralph left it? He never used to go anywhere without it. What else have we got? A luminous sticker with a smiley on it. And a cork from a bottle. This must be Ralph's shack. Or his hideaway. An old tin can. The smell would suggest there's gas in it. A rusty file. Can't really do too much with that. A rag doll called Mr. Bubby, Ralph's best friend. One of those stickers that light up in the dark if you first expose them to enough light. I guess that this must be a pretty valuable item to Ralph. Still smells of wine a little. I'd need years for that. I reckon the lock would grind through the file instead of the other way around. The file is worn down. At the very most, you could file your fingernails with it. I think I know where that mysterious shadow's coming from. Well, how about that? And so the key falls into my possession. The rusty key from the lamp. Fits. As I thought, full of junk. So let's have a look. Damn! That looks like one of the robes and the masks from the order that was after me. But at the same time, it's also proof that the order existed. I'll take it with me. There's some paper in the robe. Seems to be a letter to the Order, quite badly torn. Unable to stop the evil already sacrificed. His objective, or something happens to me. No trace is to be... I'm not completely certain, but it appears to be a request to cover up all traces of the Order. That would explain why the robe is in the shack. I'll put it back. Perhaps I'll find something useful after all. A corkscrew and a yardstick. They look in reasonable shape. I'll take them. Whoa, chainsaw. I've got a feeling that this baby's gonna come in handy. I've got what I wanted. Huh. When the Order dissolved itself, someone must have hidden their cowl here. Only question being, who? A corkscrew. I found it in the hut in the woods. Still works. The floorboards here sure creak loudly. I can't get out of here. There's only timber back there. A folding ruler. 1 or 2 sections are missing, but it still must be at least 1.5 meters long. Alone in a shack in the woods, in the night, with a chainsaw in my hand. If my father could see me now, I'm sure he'd be so proud. Unlucky. Tank's empty. There's no gas in the chainsaw. I won't be able to manage that. I'm gonna need a bigger tool. What the? Looks as though the door's been bolted from the outside. But how can that be? The cork would work well as a stopper for the tank, but I ought to worry about filling the tank first. The tank's just about half full. Hopefully that'll be enough. Alright, that ought to hold. Now we can get going. I can't cut my way through the whole wood storage with the little bit of gas I've got. The rotten boards shouldn't be a problem for the saw, but I ought to check what's underneath them first. Interesting. There's at least 0.5 meter of space below the boards. The shack must have been built on stilts. The next time I'm being pursued by hellhounds and hide in a shack, I'll look out for that as I go in. I'll just cut myself a trapdoor in the floor. It can also be closed again in an emergency. Outside through the hole. Good. Let's try it. I'm better leaving the heavy junk here. Good. No wild beasts for miles. Weird. No tracks. The beasties couldn't have just disappeared into thin air. Oh no!